What's up? I'm here to share real world financial stories and situations to help you learn more about money, get out of debt, build wealth, and live an amazing life. Let's get started. Confession number 1. Sanity check. Someone please talk me out of buying this house. I currently make $140,000 a year in Virginia, and my wife is a nurse making $80,000. After years of stalking listings in our areas, we came across our dream home with a considerable amount of more space than our current one for $750,000. We currently have a $250,000 mortgage at 3.5% on our current house. The original value was $320,000 and the current value is $500,000. Our cars and student loans are paid off. Credit cards are paid off in full every single month. We're approved for a VA loan with 0% down at 7%, but it would mean a massive increase in housing costs for us, and I'm scared of taking on that much of a mortgage. Is this a dumb idea? Would we be house poor? So you're asking for someone to talk you out of this situation when it sounds like you're already terrified of the situation and you just need justification to not do it. But in terms of being house poor, yes. With a $750,000 mortgage, with 0% down at a 7% interest rate, you're probably looking at close to a $6,000 a month mortgage payment. Making $220,000 a year gross income, you're probably sitting around $148,000 net, which puts you about $12,000 a month in total net take home. So 50% of your net income would be going towards this mortgage payment. That would be quite the jump from, I'm assuming, around a $1,800 to $2,000 a month mortgage payment on your current house. So no, I would not suggest going and spending 50% of your net income on a housing payment. I would also not suggest putting 0% down when you have a 7% interest rate loan and you currently have about $250,000 worth of equity in your house. So if you were to go and buy this house, you need to be rolling out all that equity into that new home. If you're to put that $250,000 worth of equity into that new home, you'd have a mortgage for about $500,000. So your mortgage payment would be about just over $4,000 a month. That'd still be over 33% of your net income, and I like to be below 30%. So if you're scared to take that much of a mortgage, don't do it. Stay in your current house, save up money, but please do not and go spend 50% of your net income on this new house. Confession number 2, parents left me a house. A few years ago, my parents bought a house using my name. They gave me $5,000 for using my name to buy the house because I had good credit. I moved back home in August because my parents moved to another state, and they told me I could move back home and not pay rent to save money. A month later, they said they can't afford to pay the mortgage. So I'm stuck with a $2,200 mortgage, which is 50% of my monthly paycheck. I've been trying to sell the house, but it's in really bad condition. Parents did a horrible job maintaining it. The fridge and the heater are not working because of electricity issues. There's about $20,000 worth of repairs. I feel very stuck on what to do. First, this is a horrible situation that you're in, and I'm sorry to hear that. And this is the reason why you should never co-sign or you let people buy things using your name, using your credit, using your social security number. Number 2 is, no, you cannot afford this house, obviously, with 50% of your net income going towards this payment. So you need to figure out how you're going to sell this. You're saying you're having trouble selling, which means probably the price is too high with the issues and the repairs that are needed. So you need to find a good real estate agent that can help you sell this, and it might look like seller credit at the closing table for these repairs. This sounds like a horrible situation that your parents utilized you and your credit to go buy this home and then left you in this not a good situation. So you need to figure out what can you do to sell this as quickly as possible without losing any money and get out of this situation. And lesson learned, never co-sign again. Confession number 3, am I stupid for not wanting to own a condo? I'm in my early 30s and I've recently inherited a big sum of money, just enough to buy a 1-bed condo in San Diego where I live. Everyone I know advises me to make that step and buy a condo of my own, but I'm just not interested in that. I'm happy being a renter and don't require much in terms of space. I'm scared of owning my own place. It feels like a lot of pressure and potential for a lot of spending, which I won't be able to afford if I spend all the inheritance on buying. I'm very career focused, don't want kids, and all my energy is focused on my work now. I can't even fathom taking on another responsibility in the form of owning a home. Maybe it's naive, but right now I know that my landlord will take care of anything that goes wrong. I wouldn't have to deal with that myself. Growing up, I've seen my parents deal with so many unexpected expenses related to our home, HOA fees, damages, crucial renovations, and more. I feel much more comfortable at this stage to just rent. Pay the known sum every month and be done with it. By my calculations, if I just keep on renting, this inheritance will last me for a good 2 decades of rent. But I still feel like I'm crazy and irresponsible. Will I be wasting this incredible gift on renting and regret it when I'm older? So no, you're not stupid for wanting to continue to rent. There are benefits of renting and there are benefits of homeownership. Homeownership is great if you have an emergency fund saved up, if you're spending well below what you can afford, and is what you truly want to do. If you enjoy not having to worry about maintenance, if you enjoy the ability and freedom to move from place to place every year or every couple of years, if you don't have money saved up for this, if you just don't want to do it, then no one's stopping you from continuing to rent. In terms of financial circumstances, you're saying if you spend all this money on buying a condo, you won't be able to afford the costs associated with buying a house, which in that instance, I would say do not go and buy a house or a condo or anything. Because if you spend all your money on your down payment, on buying the house, on closing costs. You have nothing left over. You will be in a bad situation when an AC unit goes out, when a heater goes out, when something breaks, when a water pipe bursts. And that's not a spot you want to be in. So if you're buying a home, you want to make sure you have an emergency fund saved up. You want to make sure all your debt's paid off. You want to make sure you have money left over after closing costs, after the down payment. In terms of financially, in the long term, can you still be better off renting than buying? Yes, there are instances that you can. If you live below your means renting and you start saving and investing the difference, then yes, you can be better off in the long term. The key is you have to save and you have to invest. You're talking about using the inheritance for rent. Do not use the inheritance for rent. To start saving and start investing and start contributing more money to that every single month. If you continue to rent for the rest of your life, you never save a penny, then yes, in theory, you would be better off financially buying a house and essentially having a forced savings account by paying a small percentage towards principal every single month, just renting and spending every single dollar for the rest of your life and never saving a penny. So if you want to continue to rent, if that is what your life and your desires are, do it, but make sure you're saving and you're investing and you're not wasting this money and living above your means. Confession number 4. Is it normal to always feel like I can't afford what I'm buying? Whether it's a haircut, an oil change, healthy groceries, a tuxedo rental for a friend's wedding, is it normal to feel like I probably shouldn't be buying literally any of this stuff, even though I don't really know how to live without it? Well, unfortunately, in America today, that is how a lot of people feel and live. We got credit card debt over $1 trillion. We got student loans just resuming. We have car loans hitting over $800 a month on average. And most people go through life not budgeting, not tracking their spending, not understanding where their money's going. I talk to a lot of individuals, and they always tell me they're living paycheck to paycheck, that they're only buying necessities. But when you dive into your monthly expenses, I guarantee you will find things like that subscription you don't need, that Amazon purchase, or that Target purchase, or any of those things that you bought that sounded fun, that new dress, that new shirt, whatever it might be, that you truly didn't need. So you need to start budgeting your money, tracking your expenses, and I can promise you that if you start doing that, you will find areas to cut back 5 to 10% of your total monthly expenses by just tracking your expenses and seeing what you're spending on a given month. Confession number 5. My grandmother's in a car loan and needs out of it. In 2022, my mother, we will call her Jane, needed to get a car, but her credit didn't allow her to get the car at an affordable payment. So my grandmother, we will call her Mary, signed with her to lower the payments. A year later, Jane told Mary she can't afford the payments anymore and gave the car back to Mary. Mary wants to sell the car, but Jane disappeared and won't talk to anyone, including her children. Now no one knows where Jane is or how to get a hold of her since her phone has been shut off. What can Mary do since Jane can't be found and the car can't be really sold without Jane present? So this is why you never co-sign a loan ever, because it can put you in situations like this, even if it's with friends and family. The unfortunate situation is not really an easy way out of this. There's small claims court you can try to get. There's ways you can try to figure out how to get the title so that your grandmother can sell the car. You let the car get repossessed without destroying your grandmother's credit. But now your grandma's in a situation that she's stuck in financially with these payments without being able to sell the car because she signed on a loan that the bank wasn't willing to give to Jane because she was too high of a risk. So I would consult with lawyers. I would consult with anyone ever you can find to figure out how to get your grandma out of this situation. It's not going to be a pretty situation, whether it's lawsuits, whether it's spending money on attorneys, whether it's a car getting repossessed. It's going to be a very difficult situation to get out of. Confession number 6. Is it more important to invest more money in your 401k when you're younger rather than when you're older? I ask because I have an idea, and it might be a dumb idea. That's why I'm asking. I'm currently contributing 10% of my pay into my 401k. And it's like 15% with employer match. I'm 32 years old, and my idea is in maybe like 8 years, drop my contribution down to 5%, which would basically give me a 5% raise. Am I dumb? Does that make any sense? So yes, saving more money early is better because of compound interest. I would not plan on dropping your future contributions. I would plan on over the next 8 years, continue to make more money. And if you get a 5% pay increase, up your contribution by 1%, and that gives you more of a pay rate. But yes, contributing more early will help you with compound interest over the long term. For example, if you're 32 years old and you invest $1,000 a month from when you're 32 to you're 67 at a 7% annual return, you'd have $1.8 million when you turn 67. And that's starting from zero. If you then decide to wait 10 years and start when you're 42, you'd have $810,000. If you then push it off even further to 10 more years when you're 52, you'd have $316,000. That shows investing early and often changes your future drastically. Confession number 7. I'm feeling trapped of taking a personal loan out of my 401k. Long story short, I built a house. I wanted extras in that house, so I took out $10,000 for the 401k. Now I realize I'm stuck at this current job until I pay it off. I could potentially make about $8 more an hour if I go elsewhere, but I don't know if I can because I don't have the money to pay the loan off. Is there a way out of this, or am I just overthinking it? Taking a loan out of your 401k is always discouraged because it puts you in situations like this when you want to leave a job that you either have to pay that loan back within 30 or 60 days of leaving that job, or there's more penalties that are incurred. So your options really are pay the loan off as quickly as possible and then go to that other job, or you're going to pay a penalty for early withdraw from your 401k. So please do not borrow from your 401k again. Please never do that. It puts you in bad situations and it creates bad habits that will stay with you in the future. Confession number 8, I'm spending over half my income on rent. I'm 23, relocating for work to an expensive East Coast city. I'll be making $72,000 a year. I really want to live alone, and that would put me about $2,000 to $2,200 a month in rent. I calculate my monthly take-home earnings about $3,900 after taxes and a 6% 401k contribution. This would mean I'd be spending more than half of my take-home pay on rent. In my location with the requirements I want, I wouldn't be able to find anything cheaper. Since I graduated college, I've been able to save a lot of money by living with roommates. I have $40,000 in savings and $5,000 in a Roth IRA. I have no debt. My monthly spending is about $1,500 a month, depending on the month. The only help I get financially from my parents is my medical bills, which I will thankfully keep paying until I turn 26 and get booted off the insurance and my phone bill. Would spending $2,000 to $2,200 on rent be stupid? I could make the math work, but I wouldn't be able to keep adding to my savings account beyond 401k contributions to get my company match. I'm kind of thinking I've already had so much more saved than the average 23-year-old, so maybe it's okay if I pause contributing to my savings for just a few years until I get a raise. Is that crazy? Personally, I would not do this. I would not spend 50% of my income on rent. You just laid out that will cause you to stop saving money. It will limit your spending. I would be getting a roommate again to get that down to $1,200 a month so you can be saving money every single month. You never want to put yourself willingly into a situation where you up your housing expenses to put you in a spot where you never save money. Because guess what? You're going to wait for that next raise, or you're going to wait for that perfect moment to start saving money again. But something's going to come up, whether it's a trip you want to go on, whether it's a car you want to save up and buy, whether it's a new phone. And people always wait until they get a pay raise to start saving money. And that is why 49% of Americans making over $100,000 a year living paycheck to paycheck, because they're all waiting for the next pay raise to start saving money. They're all waiting for the next job to start saving money instead of taking action and changing their spending habits now. So please do not sign this lease. Please do not do that. Find a roommate or find a cheaper place to live, but you want to be around 30% of your net income, preferably 25 to 30, and take-home pay for your rent. That'd put you at about $1,200 a month. Well, that's all I have for today. If you learned something from these stories, if you can apply this to your life, please hit the like and subscribe button. Let's help America learn more about money, start talking about money more, and start building wealth. Thanks for watching.